Oh, you caught me off guard there. All right, Norcal Karters, we are back. It is November 20th. I was waiting for a longo intro, but yeah, here we are, November 20th. And tonight is our Las Vegas Rewind show. We have a lot of racers that participated at Rok Cup Vegas and also at the SKUSA SuperNationals. Tonight's panel, we have Turner Brown, we have Steven Isert, and we have Seth Huntley. And we may have Gary Carlton joining us a little bit later on. But yeah, real quickly, some housekeeping things for our intro. Real quickly, Ashley, a couple weekends ago, she had a NorCal calendar meeting that was very productive. So a quick shout out, Challenge of Americas, NCK Road Racing, Northern Nevada Kart Club. They're on board for 2024. So giving them a shout out. Their calendars will be going live on norcalkarters.com here over the next week or so. So if you want to have extra attention in 2024, reach out to myself or reach out to Ashley about the calendars or other ways you can use the Norcal Karters platform to promote your club or your karting business. So yeah, again, thank you, Andy, Challenge of Americas, Mark over at NCK Road Racing, and Northern Nevada Kart Club. Thank you for the support for 2024. And some other big things that'll be coming down the pipeline with NCK. They have Laguna Seca. So the Laguna Seca karts will be on the big track in October 2024. So right now they are actually sold out and they are doing waiting list only. But the focus for them, this is going to be unique to NCK. Their focus is actually going after spectators. So if you're a karting shop or a karting industry member and you want more attention, you can actually reach out to me or Mark Morrison as we target more spectators since the classes are sold out for the road racing event. They have a waiting list for the racers, but again, October 2024, karts on Laguna Seca. So that's going to be really exciting. And again, shout out to Northern Nevada Kart Club and Challenge of the Americas. We'll have Andy on in the next month or so, less than a month. He's got big news dropping. He's opening up his platform. So he's allowing multiple engines in many of the classes. They're doing a tire switch. They switched over to the Vega tires. So there's been a lot of feedback from some of the teams that have experience with that tire. And yeah, it sounds good. So we'll have Andy on probably in the next couple of weeks, somewhere between now and Christmas. And Andy's always a good show. Yeah. And if you're wondering if it says Jason, 45 to go, that is for our YouTube channel. We need 45 more subscribers. So if you've not yet subscribed, take a quick moment, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit share. Once we go over 1,000, it actually opens up a lot of different options for Norcal Karters as far as live coverage and things like that. So we are going to expand our coverage. We will make it available. It's not free unless we pick up a big sponsor that wants us to cover a lot more racing. But once we get over 1,000 subscribers, that does unlock some features for us. So we're pretty excited about that. We only have 45 to go. And without me rambling on too much, we're going to get to Ashley, then we'll get to our panel. Ready, Ashley?
Hey, NorCal. All right. So like Jason said, a couple weeks ago, we had a NorCal club meeting and all of us decided together on schedules for 2024. Schedules are being released club by club, and there is going to be a regional series. So watch out for the announcement about that and what tracks they're going to be going to. And again, like Jason was saying, we want to thank the clubs for getting together and working on that. If you guys do want to be on the calendar for next year, again, reach out to Jason or I. It's good to see everybody again. And 2024 is going to be awesome. I can say nobody's going to be on top of each other. Nobody's going to have to choose, hopefully, where if they have to go to one track or another, because we all kind of collectively agreed on what works. So we're hoping to see a big groups in our regional series, because of the scheduling, because that was everybody's biggest concern. That went out in the poll. And again, shout out GFC was our respondents for our team poll. So thanks again, GFC and Gary, and hopefully we have him on tonight. But it's great to be back.
All right. So thank you, Ashley. And yeah, we'll see if Gary's going to make it on tonight. And let's see here. So my ADD's on fire right now. Ashley's waving in the background. I can't tell if she's waving at me or Josh. So, no. So, without further ado, our first guest up. Let's see here. We're going to bring up Turner Brown. You ready to go? Turner Brown, thank you for joining us this evening. You'll have to unmute your mic on your end. There we go. And tell us who you are, who you race for on the East Coast and the West Coast, and did anything exciting happen to you in the past 2 weeks? So take it away.
I'm Turner. Most of you guys know me as Chico, probably on the from watching on the show. I race for Speed Concepts Racing, and I use P1 engines and Speed Lab engines. And something that's happened to me in the past 2 weeks is I podiumed at Rock and got third, and then I ended up winning the SuperNationals in both classes for the 26 running. So, yeah.
So in one weekend, you became a double SuperNats champion. In one weekend. Yeah. You should have heard the F-bombs coming out of my mouth on when you got to the podium and you didn't get the first place trophy.
Yeah, fortunately it got overturned though. I was really disappointed at first. Then I come in the trailer with a surprise from my driver coach Alex, and man, I just fell on the stairs and started crying. But yeah.
So is that Alex Speed?
Yeah, Alex Speed.
Yeah, Alex Speed, former Norcal Karter, now on the East Coast. So clarify for us, because they during the broadcast they didn't really say why you were penalized or why anything was overturned. So what was the initial ruling for you on why you were penalized?
So I ended up penalized for a half pushback in K. It was just something where someone turned in and I just went over the curb and just went in. Unfortunate. And I just made sure, because I saw it like every lap on the straightaway. I mean, it was so long to the point where you could take a nap, but I was just looking at it every time down the straightaway. And then one lap I saw it, and I had a good idea that I was probably going to go in after that. So I just made sure to keep my nose clean and think I looked back and I saw that I'm either finishing third or better with the penalties ahead of me. Hopefully there's a penalty, but because we had something like a 5-second gap behind with 2 to go, and they were battling way more than us. Like I could see them passing and everything. We were just locked and loaded with 2 to go, the top 3. So I just thought keep my head clear and try and win it on track and gain as much time as you can on the leaders and everyone else in the field.
Yeah, because during the broadcast you couldn't tell where the contact was during the actual broadcast.
I could honestly I could, because I knew that I hadn't done anything the entire race, and then that lap going in the corner was the first time I made the last corner going to the last. That was the first time it was like a lap 7. That was the first time I made contact the entire race, and immediately I looked down and was like, all right, I know I have a pushback. So for the second half and a give or take a few laps, I knew that I had to push back, and I just thought I just got to keep my head down and push.
Well, you ran 2 great races. So if those that didn't watch it, you can go back to Kart Chaser. They did a fantastic job at the SuperNats doing the coverage. And yeah, you were definitely on that last lap. You were the unlikely winner. You drove extremely smart in both races. And well, later on I'll cue it up and bring it up. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll bring up that last lap for everyone, because it was fun to watch on the Kart Chaser broadcast.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, every both races, I thought like if you have the opportunity, yeah, go if they don't block on the last lap, but don't force a way in. And honestly, if you're in the last corner in second or third with no gap from behind, it's so much better because that over under the corner was so wide on the entry and on the exit, really, to the point where you could just sweep under them and get the over under easily, like no hard work. So, and the guy ahead of me, he was always going deep into the corner with at least like when they were blocking. So I knew that, all right, last lap over under in both classes. I was just thinking that, but I was able to do in one class. In the other class, I was actually in the lead going into the final corner.
Yeah, so I'll find that and I'll bring it up and we'll watch that once we get through the panel and get everybody up. But thanks for the introduction, Chico.
Hold on. I do have a question. For people who don't know, also tell us a little bit about yourself, because here you are, a double SuperNats winner, right? And how old are you?
I'm 12 years old. Yeah, I ended up actually before I ended up winning this year. I won it on track last year in 2022 in mini Swift, and I ended up getting a penalty and losing that. And I was just super, like, it crushed my confidence for the beginning of junior. But I knew that I had a fresh start. So yeah.
So are you looking forward to going back and joining the Elite Four club?
Yeah, that would be awesome to join the Elite Four club with some of the people that I've looked up to while racing, and that would definitely be a goal of mine before I leave karts and hopefully transition into cars.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Chico.
See, sorry about that. So next up, we are going to have a race winner from RokVegas, Steven Iser.
Hey,
Good
Jason,
morning,
how are
Steven.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
You're great. So,
Yeah.
just like Chico, tell everyone who you are, who you race for, what class you were running down at RokVegas, not at the SuperNats, but RokVegas, and what class did you win?
Yeah, my name's Steven Iser. I I drive for Speed Sense Motorsports, P1 engines, and I was racing a senior VLR class.
A senior VLR class. Very cool.
Yeah.
And you won down there.
Yeah, I did. It was a fun race. Got shuffled back a little bit, but bounced back, kept my head down, and got the lead on the last stretch. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Were you excited?
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I just won RokVegas, so it was my first national win. So yeah, it's a big confidence boost going into next year.
That's true. I love your water bottle. I love cart moms.
Oh, thanks.
You don't have to take it down. I just that's funny. All right. Anything else you want to say before we get to our other guest?
Not much.
Not yet.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. We'll circle back to you. We'll have everybody coming up, and we go back and forth and talk about the different Vegas things and all that fun stuff. And before we get to Seth Huntley, again, if you enjoy what we're doing here at Norcal Karters, hit like and subscribe. We only have apparently 43 more subscribers to go before we go over 1,000, and that opens up things for Ashley and I to do more promoting of karting here in NorCal. And in 2024, we're looking to expand out as well. So staying on the West Coast, obviously, but there's a lot of karting that can be covered. And again, we're just trying to get to that 1,000 mark, and take a quick moment and hit like, subscribe, and share. And last but not least, Seth Huntley. How are you doing tonight?
I'm spectacular, actually.
You're spectacular.
SuperNats.
You're still fun. What?
I'm still hyped after SuperNats.
Yeah, so I mean, I was kind of busting your balls at Prairie City the week before you went, and I didn't know what your mindset was going to SuperNats. And then when you told me, I really want to go for the experience. I want to have a lot of fun. I want to learn as much as I can. And you said, I just want to make the main event. And I think this is such a great contrast to have you on the show tonight, because we have Chico, who has 2 SuperNat wins. We have Isert, who has 1 RokVegas win. And then we have you on the show. And all the local guys know you. I mean, you're definitely a personality. And your whole goal was just to make the main event at SuperNats. And so tell us, did you make the main event?
Yeah, we did. We did a really good job. We came into the week. Like I was kind of telling you at Prairie City, I came into the week with kind of low expectations. Just whatever I can manage is a win, and that definitely helped with my mindset. We were fast out of the gate. The cart came in quick. The engine was good. Ron White killed it with the motor, and Nick helping me with the Sodi cart. It was awesome. We made a couple changes here and there, and it just, everything came together. We ended up keeping our nose clean through all the heats. We were in the top 20 for all the heats, and we went straight into the main event, and we didn't have to do the LCQ. We started 30th, and we probably had some pace to be up inside the top 20, but I screwed up on go-kart setup, and I ended up, kind of zeroing out in 30th. So I didn't gain or lose anything, which is good.
No, and you made it directly into the main event.
Yeah.
Which that was your big goal. You didn't have to go through the LCQ. And again, I think it's cool we have that big contrast, because 2 weeks ago, Chico wasn't a SuperNats winner. Now he's a double time.
Let's hold on. Back to Seth though. Let's go back. Seth, how did you get to SuperNats? What did you have to do to get there?
We ran the Norcal Sprint Kart Series. Donald Durbin hosted, and it was a blast. We got to go to some really cool tracks. We went to Prairie City. Buttonwillow is a track I raced SKUSA at for years, and I haven't been back there since. We got to go to Buttonwillow. My dad grew up racing at Medford, so it was really cool to go back and hang out with all of his Oregon friends. And then we did Santa Maria, which I've never been to. Amazing track. And then we ran 206 Senior down there. I don't know why, but I did. And then we went to Corning, which was an awesome track. And we ended up doing really well, and we swept the series and won the championship, and we went to SuperNats.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that your first SuperNats, not just as a racer, but just to go in general?
That was my first time ever being in Las Vegas.
Okay. So when you first got down there and you started walking through the pits, was it a little overwhelming seeing all the semis and all the teams and all the big tents?
Yeah. It took a couple hours into the first full day of being there to make myself think that I should be here. Until we got on track, it was like, oh man, this is a lot, and after the first session, after my helmet went on and the motor fired up, I was like, all right, we should be here. So at first it was a little like, whoa, this is not my environment, but I took to it, and everyone under the tent made me feel like I was right at home. So it was nice. It was amazing.
Yeah, that in SuperNats is one of those events. It just, even if you never plan on racing it, it's one of those events. Just put it on your bucket list to go check it out, because it's impressive. I mean, it's a big freaking circus that comes into town, and when you tell people I race karts, and then you go to SuperNats, and everyone has semis, and there's big tents, and it's a huge production, so it can definitely be overwhelming for people. All right, I don't know who this one's. Family Garage. Don't forget to thank your head mechanic, biggest supporter, your pops.
Yes.
So is that for you?
Oh, is that you?
That probably.
You don't know who it's for?
My dad is my biggest supporter. My whole family supports this. My mom's all in, and my dad's always there right by my side, working on my go-karts, screaming and yelling at each other. And I mean, that's just how it goes. You don't want to pit next to us ever, because that's just how it goes. But we kept it cool under the giant Sodi tent, and we saved our yelling for the car ride home, or car ride to the Airbnb.
There you go.
And then I passed out on the way home, so I didn't have to yell at him. It was perfect.
Perfect. So Arch, as you guys can tell, the chat lines are open. So if you have any questions for anybody on our panel, ask away. And
they had some questions. They had some questions for each other, so we're gonna open it up, and
we'll let Chico kick it off.
Yeah.
No.
I don't have.
I thought you had. I thought you guys were asking questions before we went live.
Come on, Chico, don't be shy.
All right. Seth, what was your experience at Supernats? How did you like it?
Honestly, I loved it. Every bit of it. Like I was saying, it was nerve-wracking at first. Helmet went on. We went out and we were like faster than we probably should have been. And from there on, it was like, there were ups and down days where it was like I got to stress about where I need to finish for this heat race or this heat race. And
that's Supernats. Situation Saturday. That's what it is.
Situation Saturday was that was the day that I locked myself in the trailer and didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah, it's such a nervous train wreck.
Yeah, like, and the most nerve-wracking part for me was after the third heat. Callie from Speed Sense or Rock helped me do the calculations, and she was like, okay, you got to finish here. And I didn't finish there. And I was like, oh my gosh. And in between third heat and LCQ, we had tires on, fueled up, warming up on the grid for LCQ, and they posted the results, and I wasn't in the LCQ, and my heart just, it was, from there on, the rest of it was just, this is perfect. It was easy going. And then we started racing and it got intense again, but I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I'd do it again 100 times. And I think the track was very cool. The going 100 miles an hour in a shifter cart into a 25-mile-an-hour corner is really.
Did you actually hit them 100 miles an hour?
I hit 99.9 miles an hour.
That's true.
I hit 99.9.
Yeah, that straightaway was ridiculous. Like, you could never break away from anyone. I remember just sitting there looking back. Like, I'd be in the lead. I just look back and I'd be like, really? I just see them zoom in from 3 car lengths back, and it's just so hard at that track.
Yeah, it was fun. The last corner, the big bump going into the brake zone. It was cool. There was a lot of different options. There were some different racing lines, which I kind of like because there's rubber down low in some spots and high. And that last corner, there were different guys doing different things and getting the same exit. And it turned out to be some really, really good racing. I loved it.
So Chico, how was that straightaway for the tag class?
Honestly, I could take a nap. Felt like I was on the beach of Hawaii. It was crazy. At first, like, I was looking, I was like, okay, yeah, this is for sure long. And then when you actually drive it, I remember timing myself the first session because I was just like, why not? And it was like crazy. It took so long to all the way to and then you'd be so hard on the hardest braking zone on the track. It was just it would provide for crazy racing and like tough lines, and it was super technical in that first corner.
Let's see, and I think I have Vegas queued up from Kart Chaser. So it was your X30 class, right? That you went from 4th to 1st.
I mean, that was with like 3 laps to go when I went from 4th to 1st, but in KA, I went from third to first in the final corner.
Got it. Let's see. All right, I'm pretty sure I got it queued up here for you. Give me 1 second here. And we gotta get Icert in this conversation too, Steven.
And Gear Nuts with the jokes. Good thing there was no manhole covers.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Let's see here. All right, do you want me to do sound, or do you want to or Turner? Do you want to just walk us through it?
I can do whatever you guys want, whichever one sounds cool to, whichever one you guys would like to do.
All right, let's play this thing by ear. Okay, switch you up to there.
Oh, we just got a bunch of comments now too.
So, do you want me to walk through it?
That's the Kart Chaser comments.
So, if you go back like 2 minutes, I think that's where I take the lead, and then I can kind of, yeah, here it is.
You've watched this before, haven't you?
Yeah, I always like to study my races after. So, do you want me to like walk you guys through it or whatever?
If you like to.
Okay, so here we're kind of like, I could see the last. If you want to pause it really quick. So there, I would I could see that the last 3 or so laps, me and the TB kart that's right now kamikazing over the curb. We were just pushing up to them, and we were catching them like super quickly. And I knew that something was gonna happen, because this driver had been really aggressive all week. He came from Europe, and he was just like throwing moves. Like honestly, like there was a respawn point or something. So I knew that I had to, like, I was just going to follow this guy because I didn't want to do anything crazy. Like, he would pass me as soon as I would pass him. So I was waiting for him to make the move. And here, he goes up on the curb, and in that position, I'm just like, all right, over, under, locked and loaded, and then just hold it around the outside if they stick a nose in the final corner. So I get the over, under there. I'm the pink cart, the RPG, yeah, and then I go just hold it around the outside. In that corner, and from the rest of the race, it's 2 to go, I think, and I just block and hold on for my life.
Block and hold on.
It wasn't.
So I rewound it a little bit. So we'll get it in live, or at least real speed.
I think it was. I think it, I
there goes
you
Chico.
just drove really good the last 2 laps. Like, you didn't give them a chance to pass you. Like, it wasn't even like you blocked a little bit when you had to, but I wouldn't even call it that, dude, man. Like, you drove your butt off, and you drove smart, and it was good.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, good job.
It wasn't AJ Meyer style blocking, that's for sure.
No,
definitely not.
Yeah, no, 100% not. It was more like
I wouldn't even say you had to block. Like, you drove defensively when you had to, but like it wasn't like you wetlanded the whole.
I forgot, like, the term for blocking is swerving under the brakes and completely like cutting people off. Defending my position, my bad. I was defending.
What was your top speed, Chico, in the X30 junior class?
I forget, but I want to say like 76, 77.
Okay.
You're on the rev limiter halfway down the straightaway, so it was almost like a GP to me at some points.
Got it. So you guys had to play the fun game of gearing for the infield or gearing for the straightaway?
Yeah, like it was pretty much if you were in the front pack with the last 3 laps, you were going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, like immediately, like just the slipstream, it's almost like NASCAR at Talladega. He can just pull into my head, no problem.
Yeah, it was actually, before you drove the track. And then we'll ask Seth this question, and then we'll circle back to Steven on the rock stuff. Before you drove the track and you did the first track walk, what was your first impression, Chico? Like your honest first impression on the track walk?
The track walk?
Yeah.
I can never really tell. I mean, myself personally, but my first impression was it's going to be definitely a little bit of a low gear. That's what I was just thinking, and I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a pack race. Even like looking at the track map in X30 and KA, it was really just you wouldn't break as much, but it was pack racing the entire time. That's what I was thinking on the track walk. Like, just get ready, Turner.
Very cool. How about you, Seth? What when you did the first track walk?
The first track walk, I think it was Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I don't know. We were there so long, I don't even remember. But my first impressions were, this is really slippery. This is going to be scary. We're going really fast. I didn't see how long the straightaway was until I actually walked down the straightaway. And I was like, okay, I got good brakes, so this will be fun. I think the track was awesome, like I said, but it was, my first impressions were definitely, this is going to be slippery, and it didn't really rubber in that much, I noticed. We stayed on a pretty grippy, soft setup for most of the time, and then we kind of made the kart a little stiffer as the week went on, but it was a great track.
All right, so we're going to catch up on some comments right here. We have Chico, you did amazing. Congratulations. Hey, Lindsay. Chad, super fun to watch. Even got my mom to watch. That's awesome. Hey, Shad. Lindsay again. Steven, Mr. RokVegas. So proud of you. Congrats on your win. So we're queuing up RokVegas coming up right now while we get through the comments. Oh, yeah. Chico, you had me pacing the living room watching. That was real. That was the vibe. Shad, I think Seth was only one of 9 Americans to make the Pro Shifter event. Tight.
Really?
Doing it for the USA right there, Team USA.
No, is that right?
America.
All right, I'm gonna need. You know what? I'm gonna need a David Cole fact check. So, David Cole, if you're listening, fact check. Here we go. Speed Sense. Oh, this is a good one. I'd like to hear the driver's point of view of the atmosphere difference between Rok and Supernats. So, Steven, this is going to be your question when we get to you. The differences between Rok and Supernats. You've done both, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start off with that question once Jason gets the laps queued up. Everybody's given congratulations. You all did awesome. Y'all did awesome. Shout out Nate Lavery. And then great job, guys. Yeah, all of NorCal was rooting for our NorCal drivers. That was for sure. We were watching all of you guys. We want Jason, are you ready?
Yeah, but Steven, did you get a new paint job on your helmet?
I did. Yeah, I got a Schuberth by Rude.
Yeah. Okay.
It's tight.
I'm having a hard time finding you, but I
you.
just found you. So that's like Brian Keck at the Supernat. Shows up with new decals on the cart. For like 2 or 3 years, the guy's been running his GFC with no decals, just bodywork and numbers. His black and yellow suit, and I don't even know what kind of helmet he had, but then he shows up to Vegas. He had the Jim Weed decal kit on. It was white and purple. Oh, there you go. Shout out to Chico. Can I say that with a junior on the show? No. Yeah, and then he had the white and the purple bodywork, new helmet, new GFC driving suit. It's like, and I kept seeing his name in the top 5. It's like, where is he on the track? And yeah, the decal kit. So back to Steven Eisert with the new lid. Let's see. I got you queued up. Do we lose Ashley? Oh, yeah, we lost Ashley. All right, so I guess I got to do this. Give me 1 second here. All right, Steven, ready?
Yeah.
Can you see my cursor on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, so right now you're sitting in third, I think.
Yes.
Right in front of Chase Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to walk us through this?
Sure. I kind of forget what happened, but
Well, there goes Chase around the outside of you.
yeah, I kind of
only for a moment.
I pushed along out of the way. I didn't really mean to do that, but it worked. Got it to second, and then I don't think anything really happens for the rest of the lap until the last lap. I just kind of follow Jesus and defend from Parker, and yeah.
Is that you telling him quit looking back, just go?
Yeah.
Actually, Chico did that a lot in Vegas too at SuperNats. Kept telling the guy, just go, just go.
Yeah, man. I mean, they just keep looking back and getting
Yeah.
to
That was scary. I went to pass and he like blocked last second. I thought we were gonna crash, but we didn't.
Yeah, you don't want to make the highlight reel that way.
Yeah.
So what was your top speed at the Rio?
I have no idea.
You have
I
no
have
idea.
no idea.
Are you
No.
hiding your data or you really just don't know?
No, I don't know. Yeah, so here we got a bit of a lead. Persing blocked a little bit. So we got like a 3-cart gap. It was just me and Jesus. So I looked back. I knew I didn't have to block, so I was just trying to get a run on him, and he went to block. I was going to try to over-under going up into this corner. And I got up next to him and then pushed him down and went up the last second. He had a bad run. And then luckily Ryan and the other guys behind him went with me and I won.
That was a quick start-finish line to turn one.
Yeah.
Why is the guy behind you cheering? It was like you got 3 arms.
Yeah.
Is that Persing?
It is Persing, yeah.
That is Persing. Okay, so that's Ryan.
Yeah, we're both really excited. We got 1-2.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have a lot of track time together.
Yeah.
So how was the Rok Cup event for you?
I mean, it was fun. Based off last year, because I did both, you know, the competition was better at SuperNats. Like there's a lot more people and I mean more people did it. So it was I like the Rok like off track, like the atmosphere better there, but on the track I think SuperNats is better.
Got it. And then how was the grip at Rok this year?
The grip was good. The Levantos lay down a lot of rubber. I mean, last year's at SuperNats, the Avincos really didn't put down much rubber, and we were sliding all over the place. But this year at Rok, it was like really, really gripped up. So, yeah.
Very cool. Let's see here. Is Ashley, you keeping up with the comments there?
Yeah, we do have a comment for Steven. Are you stoked to be moving to SOTI next year and all the hard work you've done the past years? You should be stoked for this opportunity. Are you stoked?
Yeah, I mean, it's something new, but yeah, it's something new. Excited to be moving on to something different and a good opportunity for me.
Free ride?
All right.
Oh, there's the hard-hitting question right there. Free ride.
There's our co-host for the night.
Yeah. No, Chico's going to be our pit reporter with those kind of questions. Free ride.
Right.
Mike in the face. He's not answering, is he? That Seth, don't pick your nose.
No comment. No comment. He said no comment.
No comment. Okay, where do we leave off?
Is there any Chico, do you have any questions for Steven?
Nah, I think that was the only one.
All right. Oh, we have another question. Oh,
Knob question. The drivers coming in from out of the country run different chassis manufacturers we don't usually see at our club tracks. Yes.
Hold on.
Yep. I wouldn't. Yeah. Gear nuts. I would say at the Vegas races, you just have everybody there. So chassis like maybe like a Rigetti Rodolfi or a Gold chassis that's not out here in NorCal doesn't mean they're not good or not supported elsewhere in the country. But yeah, they're in Vegas. There's actually one that either Seth would probably be like the savant on this one. Best cart or best chassis? Does anyone know what that is? You do, Chico?
Yeah, so I was told that it was this is all I know, so I don't want to get anything wrong. All I know is that they were an Italian kart manufactured in Italy, and they gave out a few like rides to promote their chassis at SuperNationals.
Got it. So do you know if it's a private label chassis or is it like out of one of the big three manufacturers or is it its own deal?
No clue.
You have no clue. Okay. It popped up a few times and it's like there was no info on it. It's like best cart. And they didn't win, so I don't know if that's a good name for it. Well, there goes that sponsorship opportunity. Sorry. TB cart. RC and go-karts. What's your question on TB cart? Clarify for us.
And then can you
TB cart was up front quite a bit in a couple of classes. What's that, Ashley?
Can you guys talk about how the competition is different with kids from out of the country versus local NorCal drivers? Go ahead.
I'll say one thing. The local drivers are they're very good in a way. Like if we had a national race at our track, I think they'd be really strong, and a lot of the drivers are fast. But when you go to like let's say a big race, it's super. My experience was I got crushed. Like I came from Sonoma, racing that season to a SKUSA race, like one of those regular ones at the regular tracks, not Vegas, and I got absolutely destroyed. But the local drivers, they're really good compared to other local tracks across the world, and they're better. Like our local tracks, let's say Sonoma, Prairie City, they produce a lot of this group, like the group of NorCal drivers, produce a lot of like great drivers that can go up and win all these national races.
Yeah.
Well, and you do double duty. So you're on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast. Over the past couple of years, you put in a lot of track time.
Yeah, for sure. But mainly this year, I've just been on the East Coast. I think next year, though, we might do 1 or 2 West Coast races. So.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Steven, same question. Tell us a little bit about the difference between racing against local drivers who you're used to and have a lot of track time with, and then going to an event like RokVegas and racing against international drivers.
Yeah, so I mean, when I race like a Rock Sonoma race, I tend to know the drivers a lot more because I don't really race national races too often, like as much as Chico. He does it like all the time. I do it like
also won Spud Cup this year too, huh? Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. You also won Spud Cup this year too.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's different. I know how, like, I'm starting to learn how they race over there on the East Coast and at the national races, and you know, it's a lot different than here because it's like almost the same thing here every time, but there it's constantly something. Like you're always either blocking or passing or doing something, you know, because usually you can't really pull away. You're always racing somebody. So like here you're not racing as many people, and not all the drivers are like as experienced, and they're not as fast. So like, yeah, there's just more action and more racecraft that goes into the national races for sure.
So I have a quick question for the three of you. When you're on track, do you have any like certain weird things that you do like on track to help you focus or tune in or tune out? Why is Chico smirking?
Okay.
Chico, why are you smirking?
No, it's a little bit embarrassing. Oh,
Well, you gotta say it now.
no, only a few people know. Ask Hunter. That's all I'll say. Ask Hunter. Something related to singing. So ask him,
Singing?
and Hunter will tell you.
Hunter doesn't like come on the show. He doesn't call me back. He doesn't text me.
Okay,
So
well,
I guess you'll have to tell the story then.
okay. I like to sing a particular artist in my head when I'm driving, and it helps me focus. And
Taylor Swift.
No, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's okay. Oh, come on. You gotta.
No.
There's someone out there that's gonna connect with you.
Okay. Hold on. We need to circle back to Steven because we were talking about RokVegas. And then we'll come back to Jason's question about weird quirks and stuff like that. ADHD. Okay, so Steven, we sort of touched on Sodi Kart. Okay. Go back and tell us what you want us to know.
You know, I really didn't want anyone to know anything, but I just wanted to say, like, there's been multiple opportunities that have been presented, and we're looking at plans for next year, and nothing's been confirmed yet, but we're excited to see the growth we'll be seeing in the next month or two.
All right. And then do you have any weird things that you do in your helmet while you race, like singing not Taylor Swift?
No, I used to sing when I was like in cadet, and I kind of just like, I don't do it anymore. I really don't do anything. I just focus.
What did you sing?
I don't remember.
Like Shark a do 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 do?
Something like that.
Baby Shark.
I'm sure.
Mean, you said you were in cadet.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's not Too Short or something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Poor Chico's sitting there. It's like, what? How? Why?
No,
Come on, Chico.
All right.
What do you see in your helmet? Like, are we going to be surprised, or are we going to be just like, oh, we're going to be surprised?
Yes.
You do like operas, like arias?
It's like close to Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh, is it Britney Spears?
Young or old? Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay, let's go to Seth and then we'll come back. Let's go to Seth. Seth, what do you do?
Driver's license in your head, aren't you? So Chico's singing driver's license, Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay. Come on, Jason. Go ahead, Seth.
I don't think it's kind of hard to tell when you're driving. You just don't really. I mean, driving a shifter cart, you're having to do so much at once. You don't really have time to. I don't have time to sing. I don't have time to apparently pick my nose. I don't have time to do much except focus on driving. But when I'm not in a shifter cart, apparently I have a habit, and it's been caught on camera. And Donald came up to me and said, "What are you doing?" Whenever I drive something besides a shifter cart, whether it's my Formula Y or a 206 or a tag cart, apparently I go into each corner and I go for the downshift. I honestly don't even notice that I do it. But if you look at some of the old KPX pictures from Prairie City, there's a picture of me going into one in a 206 with my hand reaching for the shift lever.
So do you almost fall out of your seat because there's nothing there?
No, I just, it's kind of a quick little ding ding, and then you get off the corner and it hits the rev limiter, and you're like, well, this is boring. But yeah, apparently I downshift in clutch karts or direct drive karts. I didn't even know I did that until it was brought up to me. But yeah, that's kind of my only little quirk, I think, besides me being me. But yeah.
Well, that used to be one of my questions. Like when you're with your racing buddies and you're talking about like racing lines or something on the track, do you use hand gestures or sound effects or all of it? And
yeah, I've flipped some naughty fingers to some people before, but
oh my, this is a kids show.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't say what fingers, but I've flipped some naughty fingers before. They're number
All right,
one.
we have a question for Seth. So, Seth, what did it feel like to race with world champion kart racers?
Honestly, it was really cool. And I'm kind of touching back on some of the question you guys asked a little bit ago about international versus US drivers. I just kind of going about my driving, I feel like I do an all right job, but just after looking at some of these international guys that drive these karts, it's honestly magic to watch. I mean, if it's just, they're smooth on the throttle application and the way that they can hit the brakes and roll into the downshift. And, I'm not saying there aren't US drivers that can't do that. I mean, just look at anyone that was inside the top 15 at Supernats. Most of them can, but my teammate was Emilian Denner from Sodi USA. And I looked at his tires after 3 heat races, and I looked at mine, and his were like barely scuffed. The way that these guys can drive these go-karts and the way that they are taught to drive these go-karts and the equipment that they're on and everything about the international scene is just, it makes me it's mind-boggling how these guys do that. Being around guys that have those world titles and European titles to their names it was really cool. Cause I was like in the main event, I was around a 4-time world karting champion, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. This guy is the best at what he does. And there were a lot of those people. It was amazing thinking that I was even on the same, even within the same second as them was amazing.
Awesome. And then
So you had a great experience.
Shout out.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm so glad you didn't make the highlight reel hitting the wall or something, because when I saw how well you were doing through the heat races, like, holy shit. Excuse my language. Sorry, kid.
It's a kid show.
Good show.
Show. I was like, he's gonna make it right into the main. Like, this is.
I had one little oopsie, and it was in qualifying. I had someone park it in the middle of the corner because he hit someone else in turn 1, and I got on the curb and I looped it, and everyone saw me just clutch in full throttle, yoinked it around, and I had one flyer lap, and I was like, I don't even know where I qualified. I was in the top 30 in qualifying, and I was like, whoa.
I think the Swedish side of your helmet was showing to the camera.
Yeah. That whole experience was amazing. We didn't bend anything. We didn't break anything. The the bumper wasn't really a friend of mine, but the front bumpers, I kept going through those. But yeah, it was
Because you were hitting things, or was it just dragging?
well, I when you're back with a lot of those people, there's a lot of checkups in turn one, and I don't like stuff in front of me, so I just hit it if I need to. But so I let them know that I'm behind them, and then my bumper's rattling around, and I'm like, well, okay. And I wore holes in like 3 bumpers. So yeah.
Wow. All right, guys. So, Chico, we have a guess. Katy Perry?
Oh.
Okay, you just gotta tell us.
You're gonna have to work.
You gotta tell us so we can move on.
What's the song,
Okay,
Chico? We
what's
got to
the
move
song?
on.
All of NorCal wants to know.
I mean, you're not like a physical contact driver, so it's not Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball.
Not me.
This song is not really a particular song, but yeah.
It's not a particular
All
song,
right.
it's a particular artist.
He doesn't want anybody to know because it's his hype song. It's his good luck song. So he's keeping it to himself, locking it in the vaults. All right, guys, we're coming down to our last few minutes. All right. So we
See, this is
talked
the problem
about
when Ashley took over the production. She doesn't let me go on for 4 hours.
Yes. All right. And it says you've earned this. So shout out. And we have a question for Seth again. Seth, looking back, do you think you would have been more competitive in a different class?
That's a really good question. Shifter is my, I guess you'd call it bread and butter. That's kind of really all I do, good, bad, or otherwise. I think it would have taken time. I could. It's a hard question because those single speed guys just, they're so smooth on the wheel, and they get the cart jacked up and the rear brakes, and it's completely different for me. But I think given time, I could have been in the same sort of window of where I was at in a different class, but given the circumstances, I think we could be about where we were at, but probably not much more competitive.
That's
All
a
right.
fair and honest
Are
answer.
you gonna?
I like
do you
that.
think you're gonna? Do you think you'll go back again? Would you go back again?
I did X30 for a little while. I did X30 before the KA kind of took off, and the whole aspect of when I ran X30, they had the big old, I don't even know what size it was, but it was the fast restrictor with sticky tires and rear brakes, and I was new to a full-size kart, so it was a little intimidating for me when guys would just send it from way far back and like, what are you doing? I could see myself maybe hopping in a single speed again, but I want to get to the pointy end of the field and shifter before I move along and do something else.
Okay.
But I still drive, like, I still train with my single speed. I have a Formula Y, old 2005 Emic Patriot, and I drive that thing at Prairie City, and it's helped a lot being able to, touching on the needles helps me understand what's going on and what to do with when the engine does certain things, and getting comfortable with not a lot of brakes, getting it pointed and turned where I wanted to. I still drive my single speed kart. I love it, but I want to show myself a little more in shifter before I completely change what I'm doing.
Did you explain what a Formula Y was to people that don't know?
Formula Y. Amazing. I love every bit. I love everything about it. Oh, it's so much fun. So it is a direct drive Yamaha KT100, and we run a local class at Prairie City, and we have Colby Romero, Travis Mitchell, Trenton Healy. We all were in the middle of the off season last year. We're like, hey, I got a Yamaha, you got a Yamaha, let's do something, right? And we ran it, and you could throw a blanket over us. I mean, us four were just, and then we had some other fast guys come and join us, but we kind of primarily did it, and we were all right there with each other and hitting each other, and it was the cleanest, funnest racing I've had in a long time. And we got out of the carts and we all high-fived each other, and it was a blast. I love everything about the class. If you have a KT100, please put a sprocket on it, put a pipe on it, and come run it with us. It's fun.
I'll come run. I'm looking for sponsors.
All right, Steven. Next up, same question. Are you going back next year? Are you looking forward to trying to defend your title? What's your plan?
Yeah, next year I'm planning on doing both this time, not just Rock. So we'll do both Rock and SuperNats. I already have a free entry to Rock for winning for this year. So yeah.
So you get a free entry to RokVegas next year?
Yeah, it's
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got $1,000 and a defend your thing, and they gave me a free entry.
That's awesome.
Very cool. That's a good carryover price.
All right.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go back next year again, senior?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then do you have any takeaways, anything that you're going to take from this year, kind of that you're going to do a little bit different next year? Like, what's your strategy for next year? Going in, already have won. So how's your confidence going to be? Are you going to be nervous? Are you going to kind of feel like, oh, I've done this, so I know what it takes? Like, tell us.
Yeah, I'll for sure have more confidence entering the race than last year, because it was my first Vegas race in senior. So I was a little nervous at first because I knew all the people that were going to race, a lot of fast guys were racing. But now that I won it and I know I can win again, I have a lot more confidence for sure.
Awesome. Totally. All right. So we're going to go to Chico, and then we are going to start wrapping up. Chico, same. Oh, well, you kind of answered the question a little bit earlier, but plans to go back? How and yeah, how are you going to feel going into this next year, coming off of winning 2 and feeling confident?
I for sure going back next year. It's one of my favorite races of the year and the biggest race in the U.S. by a little bit pretty far stretch. But I mean, confidence doesn't really change that much because it's Vegas. Anything can happen. You never know. That's why even if it's nothing, even if you're quicker the entire event, something could just happen in the final, and that's always in the back of my mind. It's just knowing that you got to conserve, you got to wait, and then you got to it's either bin it or win it in the final to me, at SuperNats especially. So yeah, confidence doesn't change. I mean, a little bit, but you just got to try hard for next year.
So I got a question for Chico. So you said last year you won on track last year at SuperNats. They took it away. This year, SuperNats, your first race, they took it away. What does that take us through that feeling of on track you win, you cross the line first, you get to the podium or wherever it is in tech, and they say, hey, you're not the winner. Take us through that emotion, and then take us through the emotion when they gave you the trophy back.
The emotion is just everything's racing through your head. You can't really process it at first, and then you just realize I didn't win. But then you cry, and then after a few hours you get over it. At least for me, and I mean not fully over it, like it really hurt my confidence, but you start to think like I won that on track, like fair and square. The penalty last year, it was really a tram line, just a rule that you're supposed to follow the start, and it didn't really gain me any time, so I was just like, you
Explain
know
to a
what,
lot of our viewers that aren't familiar, since we don't do tram lines up here. Explain to
tram
them what that is.
is when you at all the national races, when you go onto the front straightaway, there's 4 sets of lines, 2 for each. Like it's like a column that goes all the way up to the straightaway, and you have to stay in those 4 tires within it until they wave the green flag. And I went out of it by like an inch, less than an inch, and it gave me a 3-second penalty, which bumped me down to 9th. You asked me how the feeling was when they get it overturned. It just releases a lot of stress because when I got the penalty overturned, tech was already clear and it was official. The protest window was done. We were the last people to protest that I'd won, and it just is a sign of relief and happy, of course.
Yeah, because that's got to be a roller coaster. Just the Supernats or RokVegas in general. I mean, those are big events. There's a lot of, I mean, your whole season is kind of riding on that because those are the biggest races, right? And that's what I love about Supernats. It doesn't matter what you did all year long. You come into Supernats, you could be dead last in every single heat, suck at qualifying all year long, go to Supernats and win and put your name on the map.
Yeah, but obviously you never want to do that. So
No, you don't. But I mean, it's like it's that type of an event.
I think of Vegas as any ordinary race, just barriers next to me and 40 other go-karts that are from Europe. And I don't care whether they're from Europe or anywhere in the world. They could be a world champion. I'm still going to race them the same way, hard and clean, and respect. I'm not going to give them any other respect than what the USA drivers would have. And I would just race them the same. Honestly, I don't care. I don't get intimidated by them at all. But yeah, it's for me the same race as if I were to go to, let's say, just a regular national race in the U.S.
So actually, that you brought up a very good point. I know Ashley's going to show me the stopwatch sign, but we'll take it around the horn. We'll start wrapping up the show. But barriers versus non-barriers. We'll start with you, Chico. Then we'll go to Steven. Then we'll go to Seth. How do you approach a non-barrier track versus a barrier track?
Never be on the outside, number one. Never
be on the
outside. Last lap of the main event, not even in the heats. Back off. And just know that it changes every lap, whether it's like a little bit or a lot. Going through the corner on the entry, every exit, every apex, it can change. So you always want to leave yourself a little bit of room to the apex the lap before, so you know that that's your mark, because someone could bin it. It could be a blind corner. You can't see the apex, and you just put it straight in the wall. So you always have to keep your heads up and also behind. You have to look a lot behind at Vegas. I know I said that a lot of drivers were looking back too much, but you have to look behind and see where you are, because if you fall back at Vegas, there's going to be a 20 car pack behind you and you're just going to get swallowed up.
Steven, how do you approach the barrier track versus a traditional track?
Yeah, like what Chico said, just got to be aware. Things like he said, you can change every lap, and a barrier moving out just a little bit, you could hit it and it'll end your race. You'll bend everything on your kart. So yeah, just be aware. And I honestly like the barrier tracks better. I'm better on them. I've got like 4 consecutive Vegas podiums, so I'm a little better on those for some reason. I have no idea why, but yeah.
Okay. And then Seth?
I haven't done a whole lot of barrier racing. I did Supernats and then Streets of Lancaster a handful of times. I kind of piggyback onto what Chico and Steven said, is like you gotta keep your eyes open for a barrier that shouldn't be where it is, or a go-kart that you can't see because there's palm trees or something silly in the way. You got to be very aware. You got to be very open to the tracks, the track condition. You can walk the track as much as you want, but you don't really know what's going to happen. And one thing I like about the barrier tracks is you start off with not a lot of grip down. You start off with not a lot of rubber, and then you're always constantly making the go-kart better as the weekend goes on, which I really liked. An axle or caster or front bar, that was good. That wasn't. I like barrier tracks a lot, but the other thing I like about the barrier tracks is no one has a home track advantage. I really like that aspect of it. You don't have guys testing there every single day for 3 weeks before the race. It's new to everyone, and you just got to figure it out.
Very cool. So on the sidebar here, we have Kart Chaser, just the random main events from SuperNats. I figured, we'll have some carts up while we're all talking. Let's see.
Let's start closing. We'll do our shout outs. You guys can drop your team and thank your sponsors and anybody you want. Oh, we had Lindsay. Okay. We'll start with Chico, and then we'll go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do Chico. I was just messing with the buttons on the bottom.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to thank my team, Speed Concepts, for all the work that they've put in this entire year. My family, for investing an incredible amount of time into it. And the Speed Lab engines, P1 engines, OTK, Flavor Insights, Picket Racing, and everyone that's helped me get here. Oh, my mechanic. Sorry, I blanked out. My mechanic, Colton, my cousin Hunter, for traveling with me a lot of the time. My mechanic Adam, who was not mechanic me for X30 at SuperNats, but he did mechanic for me a lot of the time in the X30 and GP, and everyone else that's helped me get here today. And yeah, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And before you sign off, I want to put you in charge of this. We need to do a picket show.
Yeah, tell him.
Because technically it's 3 generations, but it's 2 generations between you, Hunter, and Grandpa, Greg Pickett. I think that'd be a great show of just kind of cataloging all of it and bringing it all together. So I'm going to put you in charge of rounding that show up for me.
I'll try my best. I'll have my mom get on that. But
okay.
Thank you for having me on the show. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night. All right, Steven. You're up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Speed Sense Motorsports for a great year. You know, it was a good first introduction to senior class, and I'm going to really need that for next year. P1 Engines, my mechanic, Hunter, Robert, my parents, for everything they've done for me. Wouldn't be possible without them. And Austin, Callie, Callum, everyone at Speed Sense. Yeah.
Good job, and great job in Vegas.
Thank you.
Great job.
Tag me in your Instagram posts. I will buy you tacos.
Okay.
We can go to Tacos Romero's.
Oh my goodness.
But you have to tag me in your posts.
Okay, I will.
All right.
I also want to congratulate Chico and Seth because they did awesome too.
Thanks, Steven. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Steven. See you around town.
Bye.
All right, Seth, you're up.
And then there was one. Big congratulations to Steven and Chico on their wins in Vegas. That's not an easy task. And I'd like to add myself to that list one day, but we'll see what happens. I got some people to thank, seriously, because I couldn't have done it without these guys. I want to thank my mom and my dad and my sisters for always being right next to me alongside while I do this. My dad is always there, spinning the wrenches, pushing the go-kart up, push starting me, and everything
Yelling at
he
you.
does. Everything he does, I can't thank him enough. Big shout out to our friend Ernie from United Salad Company. He helped us source an engine and tires for this big Vegas deal, and I can't thank him enough. He came down with his wife, and they enjoyed Vegas, and I can't thank them enough. I want to thank Shark Shifter for always helping me with my miscellaneous needs for parts. I want to thank everyone around Prairie City that helped out when we needed it financially. Pat and Damien and Mark and John, I can't thank them enough. In terms of Vegas, I can't thank Ron White enough. He killed it on the engine. I mean, I had more horsepower than I knew what to do with. He was always there to look at the data. We went over data, tell me what I screw up on, what I do good. And I mean, we picked up a lot of time just in that. Thank you, Ron White. I want to thank everyone from SOTI. I want to thank Nick LeDuc and PK from the Karting Collective. I've been working with them for a couple years now, and they've always been there for me when I needed them, and they're always helping me with chassis setup and my driving and everything. Can't thank them enough. I want to thank Terry and everyone from SOTI USA. Everyone's done an amazing job of bringing the name back and making it competitive in the US, which is something the brand needed because it's a good go-kart. And then they brought over some of the factory guys like Denner. Denner was really good to learn from. I can't thank him enough. And everyone, Julian and Flo and Kevin, all from France. They were always there helping me and just there when I needed them. Yeah, I can't thank everyone enough for all they've done for me. And let's go win some races next year.
Well, it's probably safe to say you were probably our most popular panelist tonight. You had a lot of people chiming in the chat room.
Yeah, no, it's glad to know that people like me, I guess.
We don't, but you're entertaining.
But I'm entertaining. Oh, I do want to thank the Durbin family. I want to give a huge thank you to Dawn and Donald. I mean, I've worked for them for 5 years now, and they've always been good to me. They've always helped me when I needed them, and they sponsored SuperNats entry this year, and I can't thank them enough. They're good people.
So thanks, Seth. You can stay on if you want. I do, in my closing, want to make an announcement. So next year, I just got permission to release this. Next year, our regional series in NorCal is going to be the Gold Rush series.
What?
Okay. The Gold Rush is going to be going to Blue Max, Dixon, Prairie City, Shasta for a night race, and Reno. Next year, dates will be announced. But those are the tracks, and that's the regional series that was decided on. So we hope to see everybody in 2024. And yeah, that's all I got.
So are you going to turn that clip into a reel for us? 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 44 seconds?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Is that all you have?
Close.
Is that all you have? Yeah, I like the shirt, by the way, Miss President.
Thanks.
Yeah.
CCKRA, we just announced our schedule coming out too. We're going to go to Button Willow, and we're going to go to Prairie City, and then we will be at Santa Maria. So join us.
Very cool. And I guess I'll wrap it up.
All right.
All right. Seth, thanks for joining.
Thank you guys.
I knew you'd be a good panel. You're always interesting to talk to. But I love the contrast between your experience. Just I want to make the main event, and then we had Chico and we had Isert on. It was a good balance because you brought the excitement and enthusiasm. I think of that local guy that maybe thinks those big races are unattainable, and for a lot of us they are. And then also it's the experience. So thank you for sharing that insight with us.
Thank you guys. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and I'll see you out at the track later this week, probably.
I'll see you then.
You gotta let me know when that Formula Y's out there, and I'll bring my helmet. I haven't driven one in a long time, but that sounds like fun.
Oh, you're driving mine?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't afford to crash my cart.
this is the first I've heard of this. I know a guy that has a bunch of used cart parts, and maybe he can find a bunch of dynamic stuff when he bends it.
Cartparts.com.
There you go. Give me a
All right, so I'll see you out the track, and I'll wrap up the show. So if you like what we're doing, give us a like, give us a share. That's Beth. Give us a like, give us a share. Hit subscribe. I think someone said we're down to like 43 left before we hit 1,000. So, sorry, I'm reading the comments, and I'm Dan. If you ever have crappy drivers on and wonder how we make it all happen, I'm available. Sorry, Dan, that position is already filled by this guy. But actually, yeah, that's a good show idea down the road. I like that. So, so yeah, if you like what we're doing, hit subscribe, hit share, tell a friend. Again, we just need a few more people to push us over 1,000, and that will allow us to do more coverage of local karting. If you want more coverage directly for your business or your track or your promotion company, reach out to us. I mean, the Norcal Karters platform, it's for everybody. It's not for Ashley and I. We're just the only dumb ones that show up every Monday. So it's for everybody. If you think this platform can work to help promote what you're doing, let us know. And also, quick shout out to Kart Chaser. They did a bang up job with the coverage from Vegas for both events. And I was watching their happy hour episode 99, and they're going to do, I got to be careful with how I word this. They're going to wrap up their happy hour series. So they're going to wrap it up next week sometime with episode 100. And they're going to kind of sunset their happy hour show, which for a lot of us was very popular. We would have it on during dinner and we'd watch it. They brought some good insight and banter to karting from primarily the East Coast, primarily the TAG X30 drivers. But they did a hell of a job of bringing, creating characters that we all either liked or didn't like. So shout out to Kart Chaser. Episode 100 is going to be sometime next week. The reason I'm shouting them out is behind the scenes, Xander is always helping me with tech stuff. He's always answering questions. Again, I don't know the right terminology, but the rising waters raises all ships. And Kart Chaser has done a great job at just highlighting karting, making it exciting to watch on TV. So tune in for their episode 100 of the happy hour. They're not going anywhere. It's just that show. They have big plans for 2024. If you missed it, about 3 minutes ago, Ashley was talking about the regional NorCal series will officially be Gold Rush this year. So Ashley will be pushing out more information on that and all the tracks. So keep an eye on that. And again, if you like what we're doing, hit like and subscribe, and just share it with one friend. So, or 10 friends, I don't care. And with that being said, I'm looking for how I get out of here. There we go.